Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Making Thread Pretty. I wanted to give you a little tutorial on this Brother se625. It's a very good machine. It's a beginner machine. It's very easy. I like this machine. It sews and it embroiders. So some of you, and I've had a couple requests that want to know the embroidery part. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of run just a little bit on the sewing, because you may not know on some of the parts of the sewing. But I just wanted to put out to you that one thing for sure, when you do sewing, which you'll have to break your foot down to embroidery. Now, if you're doing embroidery and you want to sew, you have to change your foot out and all this stuff. Make sure which your feed dogs are in the back here. They're right here. You always want to make sure, like this way is to drop your feed dogs for embroidery. This way is to put them up when you're going to sew. So if you're doing your sewing and your fabric is going to get caught in your little feed dogs because they wasn't put up. So always make sure your feed dogs are up when you sew and down when you get ready to embroidery. That's the most important thing, because you don't want your fabric to tear and get caught if your feed dogs are down. And then that's more like for free motion, doing embroidery and stuff like that. Now, I have free motioned on this machine, and it is awesome because I have a foot, and let me tell you what, it stitches out good on the free motion. Now, I wanted to point out to you, and I'm going to bring the screen out here. When I'm going to shut it off, you're going to hit that. Now, I put mine on the 3. That puts your needle right in the middle to where it needs to be. Okay? Up here is your width and your length. Now, let me show you. Oh, and another thing. You see this little arrow and this little scissors. If you press both of them, what that does is, when you, and let me get a piece of scrap fabric, and I'm going to show you what it does. Okay, I'm going to put my foot on here. Okay. All right, now what you want to do is you're going to put your needle down. Now, watch what this does. When you have that little arrow and the little scissors, Okay, watch what this does. It automatically goes backwards. Now, it automatically goes backwards. It will back stitch for you, so you don't have to use your little back stitch button. It will back stitch for you and go forward, and then you hit the little back stitch button, and then it automatically cuts the thread. So that's what this is for. This is very nifty, and I like it. If some of you that have this machine, that is what that is for. This is to turn it off. Now, your stitches up here, it shows the foot, which is the J foot that I have on. Okay. Now, you press this little arrow key, and it pulls up all your little stitches here. And you get quite a bit. Now, I usually use 21 on a zigzag. Now, you see that it shows the zigzag stitch. Now, you're going to come up here to this little button right here. You're going to hit that. And that brings up to your width and your length. So what you want to do is, say you want to do a satin stitch. Well, you're going to go all the way to 2. And there you have it. It's going to do that satin stitch for you. Other machines, you got to put it on the zigzag, and then you got to turn your it's just all kinds of stuff. And this is what I like about this machine, is that you go back, you can make your stitches wider, your zigzag stitch length wider. You can do it like that. But that's what I like about this machine, because you can go on here and you can adjust your stitches. And you hit OK. And see, all right here has your stitches. And you push this little button here, and it shows you all your little stitches right here. It has one of little alligators. Can you see that? Of little alligators. And that's cute. So, and then you just hit your back button. Let's see. Oh, okay. When you go into this screen and you're trying to get out of it, just hit number 1, and then it'll take you back to the beginning. Now, what we just did, this right here will bring up your little stitches right there. And that's what that does on the sewing. I have to keep moving my stand around because of the lighting. Ugh. Okay, now, you want to do machine embroidery. I'm going to go over some things on the embroidery machine. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to turn your machine off. And you're going to take your little thing off. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my foot off. I'm automatically going to hit my bead dogs. And you have a little screwdriver, and you're going to pop your little foot out. And you're going to put your little foot on. And this is called the Q. It's your embroidery foot. Okay. I probably need to put it back on my other stand. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Probably not. Okay, I'm trying to get where y'all can see. Okay. Your embroidery foot is on. Now, the needle that needs to be on this machine. Now, I use 7511 needles. With the 75 needle, the 7511 is just, it makes smaller hose. You can use this like on shirts, onesies, whatever, but this is the continuous thing that I use. I don't use any other needles but this, unless it's going to be like on marine vinyl or whatever. So I'm going to put my embroidery needle on. Okay, you want to make sure your needle's on there. Okay. Move my stuff out of the way here. Okay, now, I always make sure my tension up here is on 4. I don't mess with this really at all. That stays on 4. And my speed, which this is your speed control, when I go embroidery, it stays right there. Now, if you want it to go fast, you can, but it's really too fast. I stay it on here because that's, really the maximum speed. Okay, now you've got your little unit, which is this right here, and this is your embroidery unit. Okay? And always turn your machine off when you get ready to do a machine embroidery. That's just, always turn your machine off. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide our carriage. Okay, we've got our carriage, our embroidery unit on. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on. Now you want to turn your machine on. And you're going to hit this brother. And it's going to tell you the carriage of the embroidery unit will move. Keep your hands away from the carriage. So you're going to hit OK. And then it's going to calibrate. Okay. Boy, that lighting. Oh. Okay. That lighting is bright. Okay. And you're probably not going to be able to see this because the lighting is real bright. You have two patterns up here. The designs that come with your machine. You will have an instruction booklet like this. And it will have your fonts. It will have your shapes in this little booklet. And this right here, this little booklet will tell you all the designs that are on this machine. And it gives you every detail about this machine. Okay? So, they have a little carriage right here that says always press when removing the embroidery unit. Always do that. When you get done embroidering, always press that and it will calibrate it on that part. Okay? And this is your shapes, and it gives you 10 shapes to work with. Then you've got your lettering. You've got 6 fonts. Has now the large, unless let's say this right here, and which you can't see it and I hate it. Okay, maybe that'll work. I'm gonna hit K. Okay, the pattern extends to outside of this embroidery frame. Now, you can do the large K. Now, I can get, let's see, okay, the medium, K-I. Okay, I can get king on the medium, okay. The large, unless it's 2 letters, you really won't be able to get a large name. I'm just going to point that out to you. So you can do the large letter at the beginning and then go to medium. And then if that doesn't work, like, okay, let's say for instance, okay, K-I-N-G-S-T. Okay, then I go to the small and hit O. Oh, wait, the N. Okay. Then there's Kingston. That's my grandbaby's name that she's going to name the baby. So that's how you can do your font. You can play with it and all that stuff. Now, I'm just going to tell you, FYI, you cannot add any names. I mean, if you're doing an embroidery project and trying to add a name, you can't do it. And I don't know why. But you can do fonts. And you do the K on the large, which I'll delete and show you again. The K can go to the large, and then go to the medium and start typing in. And see, I can't do the N because it's outside that little 4x4 hoop. So I go to the small, and then I've got the N in there. Okay, now you want to hit check. That's just checking that you've got the name there. You want to hit OK. Now, here where it says set. Okay. Now, before I show you all of this right here, we're going to go back to the beginning. Well, no, we don't have to go back to the beginning. There's a little, right here on your machine, this little, looks like a little page. You're going to hit that, okay? And it's going to say embroidery frame display, okay? Mine is on the diagram. You can either have it off, where it's just plain, or you can have the little diagram. And then you want to hit, you'll hit OK. But before you hit OK, you're going to move this button here. And then it's going to show you number 1, 2, 3, which I don't mess with that. This down here gives you country, poly, rayon. Those are your sulky. Those are your different threads. I keep it on embroidery. And then if you get your machine and it goes to millimeters, all you got to do is hit that arrow and put it on inch. That's what I do. Now, hit your arrow again. And I don't mess with anything on that. It's just like thumbnail size. I don't do anything on that part. So I hit the arrow again. Then you want to make sure your needle position up and down is on. The buzzer's on. Opening screen is on. And then make sure you got it on English or whatever language that you speak. Hispanic or, English, or it has German, French, Italian, Dutch, Spanish, Japanese, Danish, nor whatever that word is, Swedish, Portuguese, Polish, Romanian, Russian, Korean, Turkish, English. So it has a lot of different languages on there. And so you hit the arrow again, and then you got your light that is on. Your input sensitivity, I don't mess with that either. This is just showing you the service count, total count, number version. I don't mess with none of that. Width control, you want to turn that on because you can adjust the width yourself. This here, I don't mess with that. Twin needle, I don't mess with that. Initial position, I have that on. Needle position up and down. Single stitch, reverse stitch, thread cutting, needle position up and down. And that's basically it on that part. Okay, we're going to get out of there. Now, you're going to see your little name right there, which I have Kingston. I hate it because you can't see. This lighting is so ridiculous. Okay, you're going to see where it says move. You want to hit move. Now you've got all these little arrows. You can go up with it. You can go side. You can go the other side. See how it moves? You can go down with it. And these are the corners. Now this is to reset it back where it was at. So it just reset it back where it's at. So if you want to move it up, down, or whatever, these arrows is what that will do. Okay, now size. This is to minus it. This is to upgrade it. So if you want to make it bigger, you just hit that button right there and it will make it bigger that way. And that's what all these here for. Okay, rotate. Let's say we rotate that 90 degrees, or you want it that way or that way. You want to have it that way. You know, just, and then have it reset. So that's kind of like you're rotating. This shows you the colors. And you don't have mirror imaging, and that sucks. But when you get ready to embroidery, you're going to see this edit in. You're going to hit that. Now, this is a trace design. This is going to trace your design. Now, before we even get into all this embroidery part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the camera here and I'm going to do another video. So this won't be so long. And then I'll show you on the different stabilizers and threads, and then we'll go from there. So I will see y'all back on the next video.